stock corner. So these are our cornerstones, and I'm sure there were some bigger ones. But it was cut all the way into the hill, straight back this way, all the way to that fence line over there. And then this part was the back terrace, and then it drops down about 4 to 5 feet. You see the ridge line was dug in. All of this was dug into the ground. So traditionally, heiaus would be stacked on top of soil, but this one was dug into the ground. Anybody think of why that might be? Well, it was easier, but what else would it do? It would last longer, and it would stay cooler. Okay, and the other reason is too is because this heiau is different from the other heiaus. War heiaus would be built up as a symbol, but what type of heiaus do you think might be dug into the ground too? Healing heiau. So this heiau was a medicinal heiau, and what they believe is originally it was a Lono heiau, and then when Kukuianiani came and conquered Oahu, he turned all the heiau into Ku heiau, which Ku was the god of war. So there was a transformation that took place on the heiau where some of the things, the features were destroyed a couple hundred years ago, and then now that we've uncovered some of the things, we see just small disturbances and changes in the heiau. But this was the back corner, so the front terrace where you saw and it was all clear and we pulled all that debris off, it looked like this at one point. So our goal is to eventually get this and maybe even restore parts of it to preserve the cultural significance of this heiau. There aren't very many like this, and it wasn't uncommon for one to be in one position and then move. So as the population grew, there's foundations for a smaller heiau of the same type dug into the ground about 200 feet up the hill. So as the population grew and everybody started living closer and closer to the ocean, they moved the heiau down and maybe turned that into some shrine. There's burials that way, so you guys, when you hiked in, what did you see? Did Keone show you the cemetery? Okay, so there's a cemetery. So even people, when they moved here initially that immigrated to Hawaii after first contact, they felt this place had a spiritual significance, so a lot of people were buried over here as well. So there's a lot of great burials and shrines. I don't know if he showed you, there's a couple of shrines actually that are still intact from that sketches were taken in the late 1800s, and they look exactly like the sketches, and so they're up here. So, and eventually we would like to secure this whole area as a for cultural preservation. But this was it. What I would like to do now is kind of show you what happens. So erosion happens, right? Rain happens, people forget to take care of it, trees grow in, their roots loosen the soil, and what ends up happening is it loses part of its form. But I'm going to go show you where if you leave it alone and those foundation stones are left intact, that they'll reveal themselves later. So I'm going to show you what it's done. Since we've cleared it, we've been able to find the front foundation stones. Because in 2002, when we first brought an archaeologist to this, so that's 10 years ago, the archaeologist says, well, I think this place has been robbed. I think that a lot of the rocks have been pulled off of this because I don't see any of the big major stones that should be left for the cornerstones that are still here. I see them here in the back, but I don't see them in front. And what we ended up, when we cleared it, a lot of the rocks fell off, and then those cornerstones are now revealing themselves underneath. So a lot of the stones that are down front have actually rolled off of the heiau, not necessarily been destroyed. So let's go down and walk and see if you guys can find it. I'm going to take you in the area, and what I want you to do is look for a really big rock cornerstone and tell me where it might be on the corner of the heiau, okay? So let's walk.